Rendition missions. In the shadows of the global war on terror, there existed a clandestine program that operated far from the battlefield, without the fanfare of airstrikes or special forces raids. It was called extraordinary rendition, a process where suspected terrorists were seized, secretly transported across international borders, and delivered into the custody of foreign intelligence agencies for interrogation. At the heart of this covert pipeline, according to multiple reports, was Blackwater. Though the CIA officially managed the rendition program, the operational demands quickly exceeded the capabilities of government personnel. Enter Blackwater, a company already entrenched in war zones, skilled in logistics, and capable of moving discreetly through airports, borders, and dangerous terrain. Their contractors, many of them former special operators, had the experience, the connections, and the deniability the agency needed. Rendition missions often began with a whisper, intelligence gathered from surveillance, intercepted communications, or tips from informants. Once a suspect was identified, a capture team would move in, frequently under the cover of night, and detain the individual. These weren't public arrests. They were silent abductions. No press, no lawyers, no jurisdictional debates. The targets simply disappeared. Blackwater's role, allegedly, was to handle the logistics, secure the location, isolate the target, ensure swift extraction, move them to black sites, secret detention centers across Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. These sites were beyond the reach of international law, where interrogation methods, often condemned by human rights groups, were conducted in secrecy. The flights themselves were equally covert. Aircraft were registered under shell companies, flight plans disguised, crews hand-picked. Some aircraft were later traced back to contractors linked to Blackwater, operating under false names and with minimal documentation. These were not simple charters. They were ghost flights, untouchable, untraceable, and often unacknowledged. Rendition was never about prosecution. It was about information. Suspects were interrogated not in courtrooms, but in cells, far from public scrutiny. The intelligence community defended the practice as a necessary tool to stop the next attack, to break up networks before they struck. But critics saw something else, a violation of international law, a loophole in accountability, and a betrayal of democratic values. Blackwater's alleged involvement in this system exposed the growing reliance on private firms for missions that operated at the very edge of legality. When questions were asked, answers were vague. When accusations surfaced, they were denied or dismissed as speculation. But too many patterns, too many redacted memos, and too many flights pointed to a deeper truth, that private military contractors were now enablers of covert statecraft. The rendition program eventually came under intense scrutiny. Lawsuits were filed, international investigations launched, and the practice was quietly scaled back. But the infrastructure remained. The networks built by contractors like Blackwater continued to exist, ready to be activated when deemed necessary. These missions were never meant to be seen or known. But they defined an era where justice, intelligence, and power were outsourced, not just to private hands, but into the abyss of plausible deniability. In that abyss, Blackwater operated with precision, secrecy, and the quiet authority of those who walk unseen through history's darkest corridors.